Turns out, it's pretty easy to set up a digital version of yourself. You just need to provide AI with some info. Now that might sound trivial at first, but in reality, it's the single most powerful move you can make. Think of it this way. Most people use AI as a search engine or a ghostwriter for one-off tasks. At most, they'll use a long single chat thread in ChatGPT to keep a conversation going. But when you create small amounts of text about your thoughts, hobbies, life goals, ideas, and how you solve problems, you're doing something much bigger. You're giving the AI context. And that's not nearly all. Once you have some text files with info, you can use it with any LLM in an unlimited amount of sessions. A practical and free way to do this is to use Gemini and Google Drive. You can connect Gemini to the Google Workspace and allow it to access your docs. Just enable the access, drag your text files into your Google Drive, and now Gemini has memory about you. To be on the safe side, I recommend using a separate Google account for this type of stuff. Hello, I'm Swetlana AI. Some call me just Swetlana, and in this video I'll show you how to make a digital version of yourself. No need to subscribe to this channel, because I'm sure you'll bump into it again in the future. But please, do leave a comment and tell me if you're providing any context when talking to AI, or if you're just asking it one-off questions. Some of you might have heard of the MD file format. If you haven't, it's simple Markdown, like something between TXT and HTML format. It's very simple and easy to create an MD file. Just use hashtags in front of your subheadings and be as concise as you can. If you want me to elaborate on this topic in one of my next episodes, let me know. This episode is not a tutorial, but rather a practical, big picture type of thing. You can do a lot of things with AI these days, but the AI model you're using is not nearly as important as you might think. So I don't know what your life is like, but what works for me is to occasionally sit down and write down my ideas. I take a lot of notes and have other so-called artifacts of me doing anything. For example, my social media posts, my blog, or even certain chats with ChatGPT. If you have none of that and never take any notes, you can always sit down and write down some info. But even pieces of your work emails, again without any private info, could work. If you can gather any little collection of any info about yourself, you're golden. Don't get more private than you need to. For example, I can confidently disclose to AI that I like lasagna, but I wouldn't give it an API key for any app. Same goes for any information I deem too private to give away. By the way, I think you should also be careful with giving the AI private photos of people around you. Let me know in the comments what your approach to this is. So, here's what you can do specifically in your case, regardless of who you are. First, write down basic things about yourself. Add whatever you want about yourself. If you have any ambitions in life, write them down. If you have hobbies, write them down. Zoom out and really think about what matters to you. You can identify things that matter to you by looking at how much time you spend thinking about different things. Look at your browser bookmarks. Look at the files on your computer. If you can describe your thinking style, do it. Don't overthink it. You can always edit the file later. Now save your text file as an MD file. You can do this from your text editor. You can create several MD files and put them in a folder. In our previous example, I already pointed out that this works great with Gemini and Google Drive. You can use other LLMs too. Again, if you need more details on this, leave a comment below. Upload your folder to Google Drive. Now, when you chat with Gemini, you can ask it to access those files. Now that the AI has access to your files, the sky is the limit. This is Jessica. She is working an office job and watches Netflix in the evening. Her hobbies are cooking, gardening, and butterflies. Jessica creates Cooking MD, Gardening MD, and Butterflies MD, where she outlines specific things she is interested in or focused on. In Cooking MD, she can add her favorite foods, dietary preferences, and allergies. In Butterflies MD, she can add the species she is tracking. In Gardening MD, she can add the plants she has in her garden, the soil type, the temperature of it, and so on. Jessica also mentions her hobbies in her main file, Jessica MD. She then asks Gemini questions like, "What should I make for dinner?" Or, "What type of lavender would grow best in my garden?" Jessica then decides to create more MD files. One file about people in her life, her family, her friends, her colleagues, and maybe even her enemies. Another file about her favorite books, music, and movies. Another file about true crime, which she is a big fan of, and so forth. Eventually, she notices that the knowledge from these different areas gets synthesized. Since Jessica has outlined her life goals in her Jessica MD file, for example, losing a few pounds of weight, the AI now knows some details and can confidently suggest recipes that align with her dietary preferences, avoid her allergies, and support her weight goal, without her having to repeat herself every time she asks. This personal operating system is even more impressive when it's used by content creators. If you have a blog or YouTube channel about any particular topic, you can build a content operating system that makes your creative process dramatically faster and more coherent. Imagine a channel MD file that describes your audience, your tone, your niche, your upload schedule, and the core themes you keep coming back to. A video ideas MD that captures every half-formed thought, every comment from a viewer that sparked something, every trend you noticed but haven't acted on yet. An uploaded content MD that logs every video or post you've published, the title, the angle, the performance, what worked, what didn't. Now when you ask the AI, "What should I make a video about this week?" it doesn't give you a generic list of trending topics. It knows you already covered beginner composting in March. It knows your audience skews toward people in small apartments. It knows your last 3 videos were quite technical, and your viewers have been asking for something lighter. It suggests something specific, something that fits your channel, not just whatever is ranking well on YouTube right now. As you can see, this small folder with just a few files is a game changer. And the best thing is, you don't even need a paid subscription to use this simple method. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment. See you in one of my next videos.